This was a really good day, and it's very hard to sort out my reflections and reactions to it. I will be, I hope, quite efficient and quick in saying some things that are on my mind and commenting briefly so you know what's in it about a paper that I've prepared. First point to make is I was very proud today as I saw all the people here and the excitement and the speakers who came and the interaction in the discussion. Very proud of the Rockefeller Institute, of the people I've worked with, my colleagues at the Institute over 20 years. This was a really good job by all of my former colleagues and friends and close associates at an exciting time. And being retired, and I've been retired for 2 months, I'm liking it. I call it my new freedom. It gives me a chance to reflect and dig into some terrain that is of personal interest to me. And I've written a paper, which you can read, which I'll say a little bit about, that ties into today's discussion, as of course everything does. And I won't tell you that much about it because of the hour, and you can take a copy because there are copies out on the table. But I do want to say that I think having Dick Ravitch come and talk, I've talked to him, he's talked to everybody. He has energy, experience, high intelligence, and he's doing something that I suggest is really important in our business. Tom said a minute ago, what they at the Rockefeller Institute care about is institutions. What happens to policies after they're made and as they work their way through our elaborate, free, open, yeasty governmental system? We are, and this is belaboring a point, in a very new time economically, in the world economy and in the national economy. Dave Walker said it, Dick said it, lots of you have said it. And institutions have to adjust to that. And they are adjusting. Private corporations are behaving differently in fundamental ways. Reform is often happening while we're talking about it. And what's distinctive about what the Lieutenant Governor laid out for us this morning is, I call it the Nike approach. Just do it. He called a couple of months ago, because I've known him a while, and I have always been impressed by him, to say what the state needs is a 4-year budget. And when he got to the end of his remarks, if you listen very carefully, didn't go into it a lot, but he said that he's bringing people together, reaching out to a lot of experts, some of whom are in this room, to try to find ways to change the state budget, change its priorities, and change how the budget system operates. We often don't give enough attention to the fact that we change institutions all the time to bring expertise to bear, to close military bases, to close hospitals, and to get change in this mighty fiscal system and economy in which we live. Now, my paper is, I was thinking of the Monty Python line, and now for something completely different. What I wanted to do, and what I wrote, and I want people to react to it, is a paper on the implications for federalism of what's happening around us, but particularly focused on one very big subject, which is killing us. Healthcare is killing us. So what are the implications for federalism of the great debate now going on about enacting a healthcare bill, the basic features of which we can probably pretty well anticipate now that the discussion has gone in an open and very in great depth and with great seriousness, and I think a good discussion. And there's a real chance, going back to Earl Warren and Harry Truman and others who tried to do it, that we're going to have a very large change, a start in a process. So that's what my paper's about. And the essence of the paper is that whatever is passed is going to depend heavily on the role of state governments. And the irony, as I say in my paper, is that states are up against it. They are being weakened by the Great Recession, by the Medicaid pressure, and by the technology, which makes everybody think we can just have smart people in Washington push buttons and arrange things in a governmental system as vast and wide-ranging as ours. So states are going to be important, and in this paper, what I've done is written why I think that, and made put a special emphasis on the irony of states are weaker, and yet their role has to be important in healthcare reform. And in three ways in this paper, I talk about the role of the states. When I've been reading, I sit in front of my computer and Google all the different things can help me really understand, I hope, what it means to have healthcare exchanges like the connector system in Massachusetts. If we didn't have the Massachusetts connector, we probably wouldn't be able to even consider having exchanges throughout the country that are going to cover 30 million and probably a lot more people who are either not covered or in small groups or who can conceivably get better coverage in the way that they do things. I've been traveling around the country. I've spent a lot of time in Massachusetts. 50 people run that system, and I can tell you more about it than you ever want to hear at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the end of this conference. But in my paper, what I've done is under three headings, I've described why I think the challenge of reforming healthcare is such a huge challenge to government. We have to do this. I totally disagree with David Walker that we shouldn't do this. We should wait. We can't wait. This is my opinion. This is only an opinion. Don't take it very seriously. But I think we have to get started. And my own reading of this bill is there are quite a lot of provisions, House and Senate, committee this, committee that are going to be in this bill that open up opportunities to regulate health insurance in America. And that is something that is key to this. There's a lot more to it than that. And in the paper, I talk about these exchanges wall to wall throughout the country. You have to be a citizen. We have to know your income as to whether you can get a subsidy. We have to know where you live. We have to know what you've been earning. We have to know what your family composition is. These are not trivial things. Tom talks about implementation. These are very big things that we've got to get started on, and that they've cracked in a lot of states. What people don't appreciate enough is that states are innovative. They're where a lot of the new ideas come from in government. And it's not just Massachusetts. I list in the paper, and I'm not going to read stuff from the paper because I'm sure all of you are too tired for that. But there are 8 or 9 states that are really out front that can do this in a way that would be impossible to do from Washington. Absolutely impossible. The states for a long time in welfare and Medicaid have had to do things that are critical to doing what this law does. This law is a deal. It says we're going to expand the demand and the supply of health care, and we're going to do it in a way that satisfies the interests that we have to make a deal with, which is insurance companies. And so it's very, very complicated, very, very American political. One person the other day called it incremental. I think that's not right. But to get inside that bill, what I see in it and I don't come right out and say in the paper, but I'll say it to you because don't tell anybody this. I think this law, if it passed, would offer an opportunity for what I would call a stealth agenda, pardon me. That is to say, you would have to determine what is going to be mandated and what is going to be subsidized. And I cite some sources for that and quote experts who are more expert than me, which is easy to be on this subject, but I'm enjoying it, that this is where we're very possibly going to be headed. We are very close to having this. It's almost hard to see how they can not do it now. So my bag, my interest, my, like I think I've used 13 minutes, are to say implementation matters. States are going to be critical, but the real test is what happens at the ground level. Can we can we reform healthcare delivery systems in the country where it happens? And John said this, in nonprofit groups that provide service to people or channel people into different kinds of capitation bundling systems. We've got to bundle, we've got to capitate, we've got to control, and we've got to change what happens in healthcare, because it is the biggest driver to the problems of governments in the country in terms of their finances, national and state particularly. It is a challenge like none other in my lengthening life and interesting career that I have seen for domestic government and the domestic public sector. It is a fiscal challenge. Our budgets can't tolerate keeping going. Everybody says it. You've got to believe it now. It is an economic challenge in that it is so dominant in our economy that we have to figure out where it fits and what we really want to do and make, pardon the awful expression, hard choice. We make them all the time. Insurance policies make it all the time. Our medical care systems, hospitals, clinics make them all the time. And we are going to need to work very hard at that. But it's also a very important moral issue. No country in the world, as rich as this rich country, has so many people who can't be served. I mean, the comparison, read that book by Mr. Reed, T.R. Reed. We have come to the point where, and I hope somebody tells David Walker I said this, to wait and work on it some more is not a good idea. So, final point, ahead of your schedule, this was a great day. I got a lot from it. Proud of the Institute and my former colleagues. Thank you very much for listening. No discussion. No discussion.